God bless you. Thank you very much. I'm so honored and privileged to be a designee for the family. It's been so many beautiful things said about the giant. The Commercial Appeal put it properly. They said a giant is gone. But in the eyes of me and I guess every family member that came from near and far, Dr. Benjamin Hooks was known affectionately as Uncle Benny. And this was a beautiful, beautiful person. Tremendous man of God. He inspired us like never before. There is nobody I know, any close family member that was not touched by his presence, by his oration, by his concern, especially he and Francis together. I'm not going to stand before you long, but I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting him, for coming out, for being a blessing. I was privileged to work with Ben, Uncle Benny, as his physician. He had a lot of trust in me, and he listened to me. And I didn't really see him as a giant, but after all of the things and the people and the comments, the accolades, sometimes you don't realize how big someone is. And I'm certainly thankful to be among one of the giants. Like iron sharpens iron, he sharpens one of us. I'm here with my brother, Michael. We're not going to stand before you long. We've been here a while. But I will say that Dr. Hooks' Uncle Benny, as I had the chance to work with him, he stripped down to the bone. After the accolades and after the support and all the praises and the awards, he was a gentleman and a loving man. He was never the kind of man that let you go without putting something in your hand. He always left a deposit. He was a seeder and a seed sower. He seeded his service. He seeded his love. But above and beyond all of that, it was confidence and courage that kept him. He tried to die 3 times. The first time he had a heart attack. He was in Louisiana, New Orleans before Katrina. And if it were not for Pitt Hyde, who sent his plane over there to get him, he would never have made it. And he told me, he said, I don't even know why God is keeping me here. He says, but I know I got something to do. And he got right back into service. He got right back into it. The second time, he felt like he had been electrocuted. You see, he had a heart problem, and he had a defibrillator. And he said it went off about 13 times. He said, Charlie, I felt like I was shocked to death. But I couldn't leave here. I wanted to, but it wasn't time. And then there was this last time where they called me at midnight, because, you know, they were night people. They never slept in the daytime. I mean, they slept all day, but they were up all night. And they said, I want you to come and see about Benny. And I said, I'd be glad to come and see about him. I went to see him. And I mean, he didn't look good. I didn't think he would make it. I just said, I don't know. We just need to get him in the hospital. And he was in the intensive care, and it just looked like he would not even come out of it. But he came out of it. And I just said, this man, I just don't understand it. And he said, you know, Charlie, he said, I couldn't die then. I don't know what the problem is. So the doctors got together and they said, he's peculiar. We don't know what to do. He's trying to go, but God won't let him go. And then finally, we had this conference, we had this talk. They called me in. And he said, you know, he says, out of all the things that I've done, he says, I got a wonderful wife that loves me. I got friends and family members. I've done all these things. He says, but I've been fighting for a long time. I recognize I don't have to fight anymore. The battle is not mine, but it's the Lord's. He says, I want you to know I want them to pull this and I want them to pull that. They don't have to be upset. I'm in my right mind. I'm ready. And he said, I want you to know, out of all you've done for me, I want you to be ready. But let me go. So out of all the things that I gleaned from him was the courage to really face this thing. And we're all going to face it one day. We're going to strip down. It's not going to be anybody but me and the Lord. But we got to be ready. And it was that and that alone. You know, the Bible says the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that will be revealed in us. He who glories, let him glory in the Lord. That's where my uncle is, glorying in the Lord. And I certainly thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to work and be a servant for him. Thank you. Michael.